Lions fans, and welcome to episode 22 of Just Lying Around, a Detroit Lions podcast presented by the World of Football. I'm your host,
Hold on,
Kyle.
I would like to report as eligible before we continue the podcast. I'm just letting you know I am reporting as eligible to be on this podcast. I don't want a flag thrown during a very crucial play during this podcast. Just throwing that out there.
Well, make sure you get a letter and staple it to the ref, okay?
No, you mean a signed, gotta get a notary, get a signed document with a stamp on it from a certified notary, hand it to the referee. He's probably got to send it in to the NFL office. You have to wait 2 to 4 weeks for it to get returned, Frustrating.
Yeah. Yes, it was. I'm your host, Kyle Sutherland. I am joined by my co-host and brother-in-law, Adam Snow. Obviously, we know how you feel just right now. How you gonna be all right today, or you just upset?
Well, I see behind you. You got your little board that says #fire Brad Allen, which I think is funny because I got something to show you, because I am in full agreement that they should fire Brad Allen. Fire him. Just fire him for all the stupid calls he's made all season long in his entire career. Just fire the man. He clearly doesn't know the difference between number 70 and number 68, even though they look like two completely different people. He doesn't clearly know what a pass interference on Amon-Ra St. Brown is, at a crucial point of the game. He clearly doesn't know what holding looks like against Aiden Hutchinson. Like, the man doesn't know how to referee, so let's just fire the man. He doesn't know how to do his job. Then he comes up with a BS excuse that he puts in a document, by the way, when there is video proof that somebody talked to the referee. Like, but I'm going to be rational about this. I can be calm. I can be cool, rational.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we'll I really want to deep dive into that later on here. So let's get
later
on. With, yeah. Let's get
all right, do your thing.
Yep. On today's show, we're going to go over the Lions' Week 17 controversial loss against the Dallas Cowboys, and then look ahead
robbery.
Week 18 game against the Minnesota Vikings. But first, we want to thank you for checking out our podcast, whether that's on the YouTube channel or on your podcast platform of choice. You can find the World of Football and its many offerings on multiple social media platforms. Just check down in the description. We also have timestamps in the description if you would like to jump around to the various topics that we discussed today. So now let's get on to this Week 17 loss against the Cowboys. So we had Lions 19, Cowboys 20. Overall, besides the...
that was the funniest thing I think you've ever done. You've done a lot of dumb, silly stuff on this show. That was good. You got me. Holy smokes, that was good. Oh my God, it's 11 in the morning here in Michigan. Oh
good
boy,
we didn't record last night because.
Oh no, that would have been bad. Oh, it got worse as the night went. Like, I know you want to talk about the controversial stuff later, but all the stuff on Twitter, people posting all the extra video. Holy smokes, all the different angles that just do not look good for the NFL or the officiating. It looks bad. It looks real bad.
So, we're going to skip the stats this week. I don't know, Adam, if you can just post like a picture of the stats so everyone can read them. Not very.
Yeah, we'll finally. I've been meaning to do it for weeks. We'll get your stats up there, but I do want to point out. Look, and I know we're going to be rational about this, but I mean, let's bring up. I just want to talk about Jared Goff's stats for a second. 19 of 34, 271 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Those 2 interceptions. Very crucial. Look, I know at the end of the day, and here's rational Lions fan coming in. I know at the end of the day, we can blame the referees. They botched that call. But if you're Jared Goff, he's gone through really good games, and he's gone through really bad games. And a lot of our wins and losses do depend on how that offensive line and how Jared Goff plays. Now, give the Dallas Cowboys credit. That defensive line is pretty legit. Micah Parsons is a hell of an athlete, and he's going to get home at some point. But, that offensive line didn't help Jared Goff out. He threw a couple of really bad passes in traffic. And you might even have to blame a little Ben Johnson on this because they telegraphed several times what they were trying to do just based on personnel and just Goff was just checking it down, and there's a guy right there. No wonder he threw 2 interceptions. Like it was just bad play calling. They weren't really hiding anything, and that's something that bothers me, and that contributes to losses. Like maybe they shouldn't have even have had a shot at the end of that game with some of the way they played. That's my rational take. I think the Cowboys, for the most part, did play okay, not great. I mean, you also can't whiff on a sack in the end zone. That would have been a safety, and instead you get a 93-yard touchdown pass, which was absolutely ridiculous. And then on that same play was a missed holding call, which I can't believe the refs blew that. So it's frustrating, but I can't sit here and just say this whole game hinged on that one call. It was a bad, blatant call at the end of the game, but you also do got to blame a little bit. Jared Goff's got to take a little bit of responsibility. Yes, he marched him down the field. Yes, he did look good at times, but those 2 interceptions are big, and you cannot make those mistakes. Like that plain and simple. He bounced back from them a little bit, but man, they hurt.
Yeah, especially with that defense of the second interception when that defensive back was just sitting on the person who Goff threw it to, and interception right away. Like,
yeah,
Goff he has to see it and know I can't throw it that way, because it's going to be an interception. So
yeah, he does what Stafford used to do, kind of where he would just force it to make a play happen. But it's frustrating to see because, like I said, when Goff was on, dude, he would throw some darts, and then there was a couple times where he just those 2 interceptions, like you cannot have those. And he'll throw some scary balls that don't get intercepted. I think there was that one in the end zone that almost got picked off. That maybe should have been. But he throws some ill-advised passes now and then. And that's just the dice we got to roll, just like Dan Campbell in his 4th downs. Like we just got to roll with him.
Yeah. So let's just jump into it right now. About Brad Allen and the officiating. Did Brad Allen cost the Lions this game? If you're looking from a broad view, yes. But if you really want to get into it, Jared Goff and the 2 interceptions didn't help. Not covering CeeDee Lamb, double covering him did not help. So you can also throw that in there. But I want to throw in 2 bad calls besides the holding on defensive line throughout the whole game. Like all the officiating crews seem to miss that for the Lions when they officiate the Lions games. One of them, like you mentioned, missed St. Brown being held late in the game. And the really, really blatant misreport by Deckert to negate the extra 2-point conversion. What everyone saw during that play is no official over the PA like saying if we have
there supposedly is video of him saying 70 has reported as eligible. Supposedly, the video I saw in the stadium, they say that. I don't know if it was doctored, but it seemed pretty real to me. So I don't want to sit here and say it was fake, but I think it happened. They said it over the PA, but at no point was 70 lined up in a position to be eligible. And never did skipper number 70 go and talk to the referee. You watch that play, even though he reported all game long, but like you watch that video of Dan Campbell blowing up on the sideline saying, we told you, we talked about this, that this was what we were going to do.
Yeah. I want to get into it. Just 1 second.
Okay.
Let me get into it.
So,
And then what happened was Decker ran out, caught a 2-point conversion, end of game. Like, I don't think Cowboys could have came back, kicked a field goal in 20 seconds or so. Ended up throwing a flag saying Decker did not report eligible. And then checking X after showing all these videos of what viewers did not see was they're lined up. Not Decker, but Skipper ran out on the field. I don't know why he decided to run over to the refs, but Goff told... sorry to interrupt you. Skipper running out there, apparently a lot of people are theorizing that he did that to kind of that misleading the Dallas defense because they see him coming in and he's been reporting as eligible all game long. So he kind of walked out there to kind of be a misdirect, even though Decker was up talking to the official, but he was also walking towards him to kind of be a misdirect as well, it appears. Could be wrong. That's just an observation I saw on Twitter, so I'm not going to take that thought as my own.
But watching the video, I could see it that way. That he did, because he walked towards the ref, but he clearly didn't interact with the ref because the ref never acknowledged him. He acknowledged Decker. There's another angle where the referee looked at Decker. Decker might have said something, and the ref did this. He gave him a quick, like, yep, I acknowledge you, and then kept going. So then if they did actually announce number 70 is eligible, that's the referee just not paying attention. He didn't clearly look at Decker's number. He just saw, oh, that Lions guy's reporting again. But never, that's where the mistake should have been corrected. Like, I don't see why you have to blatantly just, nope, it was number 70 who talked to me. It's like, we have video proof, Brad Allen. I don't know how you're going to get out of this one. So I'll let you continue.
Yeah. Yeah, but then in the huddle, Goff told Decker to go report. So him and Sewell went over there. And yeah, looked like the referee acknowledged him, gave him a nod or whatever. But I mean, if he did announce it over the PA, like, why didn't anyone like say, no, we didn't, 70's not eligible, 68 is. So that's another thing they got to look at. But yeah, ended up, they got the flag, they tried again. Parsons jumped the line, another flag, so they moved up a little bit. And then
what
they ended up, they ended up trying to throw it to Mitchell, have him, but it was a low ball. I don't know. Goff tendencies, like, he tends to like throw low balls for the receivers to try and catch. Like, if it was higher, he could have caught it and ran in for the 2 point, and it would have been a different story. But what can you do? Like,
how about you throw it into the end zone? I mean, that would have been nice. How about you actually get it into the end zone instead of throwing it 2 yards short and hoping and praying that your second or third string tight end, who I don't trust, making a big play there at the end of the game. But I mean, you got to make that play. You're a professional NFL wide receiver, and if you're Jared Goff, I can't remember if he like had his arm hit at the line. He was getting pressured. So I don't know. And I think some of the play calling was bad. My question for you is, do you think they should have gone for the 1 point at that point?
I think if it was a third attempt at this, I would have kicked the extra field goal and gone into overtime. Like,
because I totally understand the rationale of going for 2, because you're in their building. I mean, like, and if you lose, you're the number 3 seed at the worst, no matter what happens. So I get that rationale. And if you win, great. That helps out your cause for moving up the seeding. So you can't lose your seeding the next 2 weeks if you're Detroit, which is fine. But it would be nice to maybe move up and maybe get yourself another home game, or have home field just come through your building all the playoffs. So I understand not playing for overtime. And at that point, I'm also like, I'm okay with not playing for overtime because injuries. Like, what if we're in overtime and an amon-ra or somebody really crucial gets hurt because we had to play extra ball? I'm sorry. I guess I'm not, at this point in the season, willing to take that risk. If I'm Dan Campbell, I'm like, I'm willing to maybe lose this ball game or win this ball game on a play, as opposed to risking 1 or 2 guys maybe going down out of happenstance for playing an extra 10 minutes of football. I get that. And I know maybe some fans won't like that idea. Like, oh, but I did think at one point, after the penalty took them back, and then they got it back with Decker, or the Micah Parsons offsides, I did think, I would kick now. It's just too many chances here down at their end. Get the point, and let's just see what happens. But that's not what Dan Campbell did. So I respect and I understand that decision. And I think my rationale would be that is why he did that. Avoid overtime, avoid further injury, and just get this game over with. Because it was already a hard-fought game. These teams were practically even all game long. And I'm very confident Detroit played this team again, it might be a different outcome. Hopefully they don't pull this referee crew again. Hopefully this crew doesn't even sniff the playoffs. But,
so it was announced on X that this officiating crew will not officiate any of the playoff games this year.
Is that true? Did that just happen?
Yeah, that happened about, I don't know, 20 minutes ago.
Oh, wow. I have not seen that yet. I'm pulling up X right now. But
yeah. Well, while you look that up, did this situation cost the Lions a first or second seed in the playoffs? So I'm going to read a few things by Adam Schefter. He's a NFL reporter. Controversial Saturday loss. What it implements. If Detroit had won, it would have secured at worst the number 2 seed in the NFC with another win next week. If Detroit would have won last night and again in Week 18, and if San Francisco lost one game, the Lions would have claimed the NFC North number 1 seed. If Detroit lost like they did last night, it is now expected to be the number 3 seed and would need significant help to have any chance of moving up. This late in the season, like, you can't have screw ups like this. Like, I hope they look into this further and, yeah, hashtag fire Brad Allen, because there's evidence all throughout, videos, everything. Like, Brad Allen screwed up. Like, you can't just punish him by saying, "Oh, nope, you're not doing any playoff games." Like, it needs to be bigger consequences. Like, this is a bad situation. So, yeah. Other thing I want to talk about, defense. Besides the 92-yard bomb to CeeDee Lamb, defense did pretty good. Barnes with tackle. I don't know what the heck he was thinking. If he was just trying to shoulder Prescott and having him fall down or what, but Barnes knows better. He should have extended a hand out, wrapped him up, and tackled him for a safety. Hutch, 3 sacks. Iffy, another amazing night. 1 interception. And the defense held the Cowboys to 61 rushing yards total for the whole game. The only other thing I can say about this defense is, why didn't we double cover CeeDee Lamb like we did Jefferson a week ago? Like,
we saw how that worked on Jefferson last week.
Oh, yeah. But still, you still got 2 people versus 1. Like, Sutton was just getting torched all game. Like, he was looking around like, where's the help at? Like, Sutton's not very fast. Like, and CD is just another amazing receiver. So they should have had help.
I mean, he's one of those players that you can only hope to contain. Like that one touch, like it should have been a 5-yard play on that one catch early in the game instead it was like a 40-yard gain. The bomb, I mean, how your defender just ends up tripping on himself, beyond me. I don't see why they didn't have somebody on him and then a guy over the top. Always have a guy over the top, like with a guy like that. Contain, because we saw what they did. When they tried to run it, they couldn't do squat. But it seemed like every time they needed a big play, CeeDee Lamb was there to get it. And look, dude's a hell of an athlete. I'm not taking anything away from him. And, even that tight end, was crucial in a few spots there. I forget the tight end's name. And then Brandon Cooks, you had to watch out for him too. So you got to watch out for him. He had that touchdown there at the end of the game. So it's, you got to pick your poison. And I don't know. I think the defense played better than I thought they would, but it's those big plays that ended up killing them also. Otherwise, like early on, they get that sack. It was a 5-0 ball game. Total different game, I think, at that point. Yeah. Maybe crushed Dallas' spirits a little bit. And you get the ball back. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of blame to go around, not just the referees. Let me be clear on that. I am not just going to blame the referees for this one. The Lions also did a lot of stuff to cost this game as well. That shouldn't have got to that point. The 2 Goff interceptions, the defense not playing better coverage, and letting CeeDee Lamb just get wide open all the time. That's on Aaron Glenn. That's on that defensive back group. That's on our defensive line for not getting more pressure. Like Hutchinson only getting 3 sacks, I mean, it's great. Good for him. Ties a career high. But they had so many opportunities to get back there. And it's not like Dak was going to run it on you. And I'm surprised Dak only had that one time where he ran it, which was after they were doing the hurry-up offense on that one catch. That was spectacular on the sideline there that Dallas got. But other than that, Dak wasn't running out of the pocket. They had a good contain on him. So you just want to get home a little more. And Houston, wrap him up, dude. I don't know what he was thinking. Otherwise, Houston, I thought, played a really good, or not Houston, what was
Not
Barnes?
Barnes.
Sorry, Barnes. So Barnes missing that sack in the end zone. I'm waiting for Houston to come back. But Barnes, for the most part, after that, had a pretty good game. I think after he had that whiff, he really tightened up, and I thought he played really good. He had a nose for the football the rest of the game. So
Yeah.
just got to wrap him up, man.
Yep. So we all saw the outcome of this game. Let's move on to Week 18. Hopefully next week's game, the Lions are going to come out pissed off, just bury the Vikings in the ground. But this week, the Vikings are playing the Packers. Game, I think, is at 8 o'clock tonight. I'm guessing whoever wins this game and maybe wins next week is going to be in the playoffs. They're both sitting at 7-8. Vikings is in a curious position right now. Who knows who their quarterback is? I think they're trying a different guy this week.
Yep, they are.
We'll see if he sticks next week or if they're just going to change him out again. If this comes down to if the Lions are locked into the third seed no matter what next week, reports are coming out that Laporta and JMO were both limping off the field last night. So should the Lions rest these players next week if that's the outcome? I think so. Like, we don't need these guys hurt in the playoff games. Like, let's rest them up, make sure they're all right for the playoffs. And it sounds like we might be getting help. CD Deuce might be coming back next week. James Houston is back at practice, so he might be able to get a couple reps in. We'll see how they both do. Other thing is just keep the pressure on the quarterback. Maybe, I don't know, not blitz so heavy this upcoming game, like sending 6 guys or 7 guys like they did. But yeah, just double up Jefferson again. I know he's a fantastic receiver, but just doubling him up makes him do whatever you can. So yeah, got anything?
Yeah, look, I want to also mention Justin Jefferson did get fined for a touchdown celebration last week. I think it was like $14,000 or something like that. Crazy, but so I think coming into this game, he'll probably still have a big game, but it'll be in Detroit, so we'll see. If it is in fact like you're locked in the number 3 seed no matter what, which I don't think will be the case, I think that number 2 seed at least will be still open, and if by some miracle the 49ers, I don't know if by us losing that ruins our chance at the number 1 seed. I mean, the Niners would have to drop both these next 2 games, and they got the Commanders this week, which I don't see happening. But with the Vikings, I don't know. If they're still playing for something, maybe you do throw your starters out there for a little bit, and if you hopefully got a decent lead, maybe you can sit them at some point. Get Bridgewater in there, sit Laporta, keep Laporta from playing in this game, keep JMO from playing, sit Amon-Ra, let's Peoples-Jones and a couple of these other receivers get a bulk of the receiving looks, and I think those would be good reps going into a playoff game. Especially a lot of these backups, like Mitchell clearly needs to work on some catching, but I
think this Cowboys game is the first time he's ever caught a pass. Like, they don't use him for catching passes. He's more of a blocking tight end.
And if you're Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, if you're why am I blanking on our offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson? You're setting up a lot of this. You're putting it on film, like, oh hey, now they're throwing to Mitchell, like now he's a decoy, like, because the Lions with their play calling try to act like they're 2 or 3 steps ahead, and a lot of times it works, and a lot of times it doesn't, because they're throwing a swing pass to Amon-Ra when he's sitting a certain way. You're like, well, they're throwing it to Amon-Ra right here, or oh hey, look, Gibbs is in the backfield, like. But so we're previewing the Minnesota game. So look, if Minnesota's got something to play for, I think Dan Campbell puts a lot of his guys out there. If they don't, if you have a chance to get the number 2 seed, they're playing, and they're going to play like they did last year in a meaningless game in Green Bay. They're going to, I think, still come out. But I do think there is some players, a handful of them, that he will be like, look, there's no reason to put this guy out there in harm's way. Let's get him out and, not play certain guys. But I think they're going to come out and try to win. And Minnesota, hard to say how they're going to come out because, tonight's their make or break game. And if they're out of the playoffs, then what are they really playing for? Oh, do you have a cat? You have a cat that wants to say hi?
Yeah, Frank's crying like a little baby.
Well, yeah, he probably watched that Lions game too and thought Brad Allen should be fired.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, you got anything else or?
Nah, I mean, look, this is a tough one. I think if this game were in Detroit, or if we did play Dallas again in Detroit, I think it'll be a totally different story. And even if we go down to Dallas again, oh boy, Detroit, they're going to be extra fired up. This squad would be extra fired up if they had to go back down to Dallas, which I don't think they would have to. But if that were the case, you're going to bet it'll be different. I think this Dan Campbell team, they are mad. And I think that's not good for every other team that's got to play Detroit now. When they're playing games that matter, you should probably be concerned that Detroit's not going to take it easy on you.
Yeah, during that, I could tell Dan Campbell during the post-game press conference, he wanted to pick that podium up and throw it. He was upset.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right.
I was upset too.
I think all of Detroit fans were upset. So.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go ahead and close it out. Go ahead and say your bit there.
Say my piece. All right. Yeah. We hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode or watching today's episode, however you chose to do so, and come back for more. Be sure to visit the World of Football's website, theworldoffootball.com, for news, links, upcoming events, original articles, videos, and more. If you want to get in touch with us, please send us an email at info@theworldoffootball.com, or you can connect with us by either liking the World of Football on Facebook or following the World of Football's X account. Those links will be down in the episode description. Be sure to check out our flagship podcast, This Week in the World of Football, every Tuesday, where you can find that podcast on any podcast feed, wherever you listen, or on this YouTube channel. And I'm sure this week we got a lot to talk about. I believe the time we're recording right now, in about 15 minutes, we will get an official announcement of the USFL XFL merger, which I'm sure Dad and I will talk about on Tuesday at nauseum. And I'm sure we'll probably still be talking about Brad Allen on Tuesday as Dad and I get into the Lions game. He hasn't put his thoughts out there. I watched the game with him. He wasn't happy either. And then, of course, we'll probably talk about Michigan's Rose Bowl game on New Year's Day, as well as the Sugar Bowl between Washington and Texas. That should be some good football this week. So we appreciate it, and thank you guys for watching.
Yep. Make sure you throw in why FSU didn't make the playoffs either.
Yeah, because they literally sat half the roster and played a bunch of scrubs against Georgia. I don't know, but Georgia put a beating on them. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
All right. That's it for this week. I just want to throw it out there. If you're going to the Vikings game next week, if it's a primetime game, which it won't probably be. I don't know if it will be.
It won't be.
But I want everyone who's going, if you're listening to this or watching this, just start a chant of fire Brad Allen. Just
it's already done.
The whole freaking game. Just say it. Like, yell at the top of your lungs, because they need I hope Roger Goodell looks at it and says, yeah, we really screwed up. So
look, you got NFL personalities on all their morning shows today. Like Rex Ryan was already going off on ESPN.
Yep, I saw that.
Dan Orlovsky went on, X and put his thing out there. There's a lot of people, I think even Ryan Clark last night, pointing out that the Lions never lined up incorrectly. So it does come down to this referee not announcing the correct player that talked to him. It comes down to that. And now it's a he said, she said. Now it looks like a lot of the evidence is coming at Detroit, and Brad Allen is still, backing up what he thinks happened. And so we'll see. Unless audio comes out of that conversation,
oh yeah, I just got that hot mic.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. But they won't release any of that. I don't think they will. The NFL, they're going to keep all that under lock and key, even if they were wrong, because they got to protect it. They're never going to come out and admit that they're wrong. That's what the NFL does. So
Yeah, I suspect either Sewell or Decker. I think one of them always has like a hot mic on him. So, and those two guys were there talking to that referee. It'll be interesting.
It'll be
Yeah,
interesting.
like you said, I don't think they're gonna let it out of the bag. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
But yeah, we want to thank you for checking out the podcast. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, all that stuff. Let your friends know. Hopefully next week against the Vikings, we blow them out. We'll have a more happier podcast than what this one was. So, yep.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, and remember, go Lions and hashtag fire Brad Allen. Thank you.
Yep. Hashtag fire Brad Allen.